Okay, so you see, basically we have talked about efficiency, right? We have talked about how many types of efficiencies are there? Absolute and intrinsic, right? We have talked about it. Now let me talk about gamma. What happens when a gamma ray interacts with a detector, right? Gamma detector we have, and as a result of this interaction, what can you expect to observe? Suppose this is the detector, okay, this is your gamma ray, it has interacted, fine. Now you see there are three ways in which the gamma ray can interact with the medium and lose its energy. There are a lot of more ways. Maybe I will talk about it in some other class. But right now, what I am interested in is how to understand that there is a gamma ray. I have just got a detector like this, and I want to know if there is a gamma ray nearby or not. What do? I have to choose a detector such that after interacting with this gamma ray, the gamma ray loses some energy in it, and as a result of it, some energy, some electrical pulse or signal is created, and then I will say from the observing the signal that okay, there is a gamma ray near about. Understand? So this is the principle. So we are talking about the mechanisms in which gamma ray loses energy, right? Now what are the mechanisms? Number one, photoelectric effect, single shot absorption. Number two, Compton scattering, and number three, pair production. Now there is a fundamental difference between these three processes. Only in photoelectric effect we have got a single shot event, absorption, complete energy deposition, whereas for Compton scattering and pair production, some residual is left, some is absorbed and some is left around. Now say for example Compton scattering. Suppose this is the 1 MeV gamma ray, right? If there is a photoelectric effect only, what will we see? This is the spectrum, this is the number of pounds, and this is energy in keV, right? So near 1 MeV, if this is the number of pounds, this is 1, you will just see one count because of photoelectric effect, right? Now suppose a Compton scattering event occurs in another event. 1 MeV gamma ray comes 800 keV or say 500 keV or 600 keV. Let me ask you a question, very basic question. 1 MeV gamma ray is coming and interacting in the detector. Read to question. Okay. Now the question is it possible to have energy deposition in the detector? And what is the energy? Energy is 980 keV. Is it possible or not by Compton scattering? You tell me. বলো
ডিটেক্ট করা যাবে, কারণ যেহেতু কম্পন স্ক্যাটারিংটা আছে ওই 400-500 যেটা কেভি নেচারটা আছে সেটা আমার ডিটেক্টরটা ক্যাচ করতে পারবে।
এই কি হলো, গ্র্যাজুয়েশনে ছিল কম্পন স্ক্যাটারিং ফর্মুলা, ফেমাস ফর্মুলা, রিমেম্বার দ্যাট ফর্মুলা, ইউ হ্যাভ টু ইউজ দ্যাট. This is the homework for today. The answer is no. Just by single Compton scattering, you will not be able to observe a count at 980 keV. I am just telling you. This is a homework for you. Do this. Remember the Compton scattering formula in the graduation. I am not doing this. This is quite trivial. But this is a homework. One single Compton scattering. Only one. ठीक है? 1 MeV gamma ray. What is the maximum energy that can be absorbed in the detector? You find it out. Next, double Compton scattering. মানে একটা এলো এখানে এসে পড়লো, again another Compton scattering happens. 2 Compton scattering. What is the maximum energy that can be deposited as a result? You tell me. I will make a chart next class. and you will be amazed to know. So it is not true that whatever energy comes, there will be a single shot compound scattering and all that. বুঝতে পারছো? 1 MeV যদি gamma ray আসে, there is the maximum energy range যেটা তুমি compound scattering থেকে পাবে. So this is a homework for you, work it out. Next, so suppose say 700 kV. Okay, 700 kV is absorbed and 300 kV gamma ray compound scatters and escapes the detector entirely. So what will be detected? 700 kV. So this means around this kV. So this is 1000, this is 700. So around 700 you will observe a point. Now this is what? This corresponds to compound scattering. So this was photoelectric effect. This corresponds to compound scattering. Right? Now suppose there is yet another event. What happens? This time, this 300 kV fellow, instead of going out of the detector, it is absorbed inside the detector at some other point by photoelectric effect. So what is the total energy deposited? 700 plus 300. That means 1 MeV. So we will have a point again here. But since this was already there, so we will have 2 counts now. বুঝতে পারছো? So one count is due to photoelectric and another count is due to compound scattering plus photoelectric effect. বোঝা গেল? So but the result is that we will get a complete energy deposition. Now in time, if we let such events keep on happening, what you will see is something like this. What you will see is a peak over here, which is the full energy peak, and also what you will see in this part is this is the background. So this is the wanted part, full energy, that means complete energy deposition part, and this is incomplete energy deposition. So incomplete energy deposition, right? And this is complete energy deposition. Okay, so we will call this peak full energy peak. And this is what? This part is compound background. And the homework I just told you to do, you will see that there is a peak like this, something like this. There is an edge. This edge is basically tells you what is the maximum energy possible by compound scattering, and this is known as compound edge, CE. And you will be amazed to know that in our practical over there, using the sodium iodide detector, we will be observing this spectrum. So this is a part of your practical. Okay. So what is this part? Bolo? So this is complete energy. This is single shot compound scattering. I am talking about energies below 1022 keV. So no pair production. Only compound scattering and photoelectric effect. So what is this part? Now you see, nobody has told you that there has to be only one compound scattering possible. There can be many others. Say for example, like this and at all. So this is the region beyond the compound edge. This is the region for multiple compound scattering. And this is what I want you to do this. তোমরা এটা ক্যালকুলেট করবে, যেটা বললাম সিঙ্গল শট কম্পাউন্ড স্ক্যাটারিং এ ম্যাক্সিমাম এনার্জি কম্পাউন্ড এজ ভ্যালু কত, 2 times compound scattering, double, triple, 4 times, 5 times. How much energy do you think the detector will be able to absorb as a result of this? You calculate this and show me in the next class. ঠিক আছে? So this is an overall gamma detector, what is actually happening. Now, so fine, this is okay, no problem till now. Now what I am going to do, I am now going to characterize the detector based on this information. So So how am I going to characterize? You see? So basically this is what I am getting, and this is the actual region of interest or full energy peak, right? So you remember the absolute the efficiency, say intrinsic efficiency definition. So it was the recorded pulses, right, divided by gamma rays incident on detector, right? So this is the definition of intrinsic efficiency. Now when I am saying recorded pulses, if I record only this full energy peak, then what I will have is full energy peak intrinsic efficiency. And so this is possible like this. Yet there is another possibility, and that is if I observe entire counts, all the counts, total counts. So this is total, again intrinsic, so total counts divided by the gamma rays incident on the detector. Now here this is just the full energy peak counts, and this is the total count. So we have got two types of efficiency for a gamma detector: full energy peak efficiency and total efficiency. Now you see, in case of this total efficiency, you have to remember that along with the wanted complete energy information, there is this unwanted garbage or background. ठीक है, এটা মনে রাখবেন। Fine. বোঝা গেল? Any questions? ঠিক আছে? Now, okay. So next, what I am going to do with these two efficiencies, I am going to do a ratio. You see, sometimes in physics, in order to compare two quantities, we either take a difference or we either take a ratio, and this tells us a lot. Now here what we are going to do is we are going to define this thing. This is known as P to total ratio, PTR, and this is defined as just the full energy peak efficiency divided by the total efficiency. Now when I am doing this ratio, what does this mean? So effectively this peak to total ratio means number of counts in full energy peak divided by total number of background counts plus total number of full energy peak counts. Any questions? ठीक है? Okay, but I should be what should I say, truthful to you. There is a catch. What is the catch? Remember, this entire discussion I am telling you that there is nothing in this whole universe, as if this entire spectrum, this is obtained as a result of only the gamma energy, gamma source, right? Say 137 cesium which emits 662 keV, something like that. So we have got a source which emits here, say 662 keV from 137 cesium source, right? But remember, this is real world. The cement, the floors, there is radioactive material everywhere. The cosmic background, everything will be there. So what will happen as a result? As a result of this, this is the ideal situation. We will not observe this. What we will observe is something this plus a lot of other backgrounds. A lot of other backgrounds will be there. So the two বুঝতে পারছো এটা থাকবে এর সাথে এটাও থাকবে so in the total spectrum what we will observe is total number of background counts plus this but remember this background counts their source is number 1 from the 137 cesium used and number 2 outside the source and this outside source can have contributions from cosmic rays from room background and all that others so keep this in mind so this background is not just source related this is something including other sources as well বোঝা গেল okay write it down fine okay now next step what I am going to do is in actual spectroscopy if I have to use this detector I have to consider situations where not just one gamma ray will be there can be many other gamma rays বুঝতে পারছো no problem there could be many other gamma rays so what's the issue if my energy resolution is good so if this is the counts versus energy plot right and we want to detect many gamma rays so if the energy resolution is very good we will observe spikes they will be very narrow we will be able to identify them if the efficiency is very good then what will happen then these counts they will be very high okay fine no problem but remember we are talking about gamma rays and not charged particles charged particle detectors are 100% efficient whatever comes they get absorbed so we will have a problem the problem is that this is okay but remember there is associated garbage along with them right so what will happen is this let me just show you example using two gamma rays so suppose this is what I am getting from a single gamma ray right now in this spectrum there is yet another gamma ray okay and that gamma ray has got a huge background like this and its energy is also very different so what will happen as a result of these two বুঝতেই পারছো this will just get overwhelmed under the background of this so what we need to do here very important we have to maximize this peak to total ratio only efficiency only resolution will not help us okay so let me write it down only efficiency and energy resolution will not help in spectroscopy we will not be able to gather information what we need is we have to resolve them and resolving just doesn't mean that we can have high efficiency and good energy resolution so I am going to talk about this concept how we are going to use this peak to total ratio now you see this efficiency here this is a property of the detector material itself intrinsic efficiency you cannot change it the energy resolution of a gas detector of a semiconductor detector it is what it is you cannot change it it's an intrinsic property but this peak to total ratio it is possible to change it how বোঝা যাচ্ছে তোমাদের any problems basically what I am talking about today is how to do spectroscopy and what are the parameters that detectors should have a good detector should have have if you want to do spectroscopy with it. Now you see this peak to total ratio. So this is, suppose, remember what I said, this is equal to total number of full energy peak counts. Let it be F divided by the total number of full energy peak counts plus the total number of background counts. Let it be B. Now, this is what I am talking about, a single gamma ray, right? So this means this peak to total ratio, this is energy dependent, E gamma at particular energy, right? This is energy dependent, remember. So I will be talking about the peak to total ratio of a detector at 1 MeV, at 100 keV and all that. So this is very important, this is energy dependent. Just like efficiency, just like energy resolution, they too are energy dependent. Why? Very simple. Consider the interaction cross section of photoelectric effect. Is it same at all energies? No, it is energy dependent. What about compound scattering, pair production? They are all energy dependent. So, as a result of the interaction processes being energy dependent, this will also become energy dependent. Understand? Because this full energy peak basically happens because of photoelectric compound and all that stuff. So this is energy dependent, and that's why we have to talk about peak to total ratio, energy dependent. Okay, now we have to maximize the peak to total ratio, right? Maximize it. How to maximize it? Tell me. There are two ways. Number one, increase F, or number two, decrease B. Right? Either you increase F or you decrease B. Now, I will show you both the techniques, how to do that. But increasing F is very difficult. How and why? Number one, technological stuff. The simple HPG detector, if you want, suppose a standard HPG detector of 5 cm by 7 cm by 5 cm, its cost is huge, more than 10 or 20 lakhs. Now, if I want to double the size, there are two problems. The cost will not be 40 lakhs, it will be more than 1 crore. Why? Because the manufacturing process becomes very hard, right? The process, it is very costly, number one, and the manufacturing process is extremely hard. So we have to look for other alternative. Instead of increasing F, let me talk about how to decrease the background first. Okay, so number one, decreasing background. So we are talking about this background, how to decrease this. Number one, you see what I am doing. A very simple technique. This is my detector, right? A cylindrical detector, something like this. And this is the source, the gamma ray is coming. Now, what I am going to do, this technique is called tapering of the front part of the detector. That means, what I will do is, the front part of the detector, it will be like this, something like this. Why? So I am getting rid of the material in this part ineffectively. This is exaggerated somewhat. Can key hobe देखो this part of the detector. So suppose it is like this, and what I am doing is I am cutting off this part. Why? The reason is very simple. The gamma ray, when it comes and interacts with this part and it Compton scatters, then the Compton scattering probability of going in this part is much lower than going outside. Just do a two-dimensional geometry. What angle it? How much angle is this? See how much angle is this and how much angle is this. Which one is more? This one is more. So this means there is if Compton scattering happens, there is a large possibility that it will go out of the detector and it will contribute to the background. So we will just get rid of it by tapering the detector. Of course, I will lose some of the efficiency. But remember, I will be able to get rid of a large number of escaping events. This is called tapering. So decreasing the background by tapering. This is number 1. Number 2. Tapering মানে এই যে এটাকে আমি এই রকম যে করে দিলাম না, this is called tapering of the detector. আচ্ছা, number 2. So this is the source, this is the gamma ray, fine. But there are other sources as well. Here, from background, outside. So this is the real world. Previously I was talking about the outside world. So what I am going to do, number 2 technique, I am going to put some sort of material like a mother protecting a child in her womb. I will put a protective material outside the detector which will protect it from the radiation. So what I am going to do, I am going to choose a material which has got very high photoelectric effect cross section, so that whatever comes it gets absorbed over here, and as a result it will not be able to interact with this, but this side will be kept open so that the source related gamma rays enter this, and this is called the technique of passive background suppression. Passive background suppression. So this is shielding basically. This is also known as passive shielding. And this is your detection. So these are the two methods, very basic methods. Now I am going to talk about an even more advanced version of this. What is that? This is known as active shielding. What is that? What is active shielding? The same concept. The concept is the same. So a material will be there. ভালো করে দেখো, এবারে মজার গল্প আরম্ভ হচ্ছে, খেলা হবে। Now you see here, what is happening? Same material. So this material protects it from outside the source. But remember, we have got another culprit among us present. What is that? That culprit is when the gamma ray comes in, there will be possibilities. I have done tapering as well. Okay, I have done tapering as well. Fine. Good. But still after that, there will be events going out, Compton scattering events. So they are the culprits. So what to do now? What I am going to do is very simple. See what I am going to do. I am going to put a anti-coincidence. I am going to use anti-coincidence. So basically what I am going to do is I am going to bring a policeman over here who will detect two things. Number 1, the same thing, if there is a gamma ray coming out from it. And number 2, if there is gamma ray going out from the detector inside. This is also I am going to do. How? The question is how. The thing is that, remember, if a gamma ray comes and interacts and then Compton scatters outside as a result of this interaction, there will be a time window. ঠিক তো? একটা সময়ের মধ্যে এটা হবে। Now I am going to put a anti-coincidence, these two detectors in anti-coincidence. What will happen is that coincidence কি হয়? We get a signal only when something is present in both of them. Now in anti-coincidence, what will happen? If there is something present in both of them, the entire signal in the detector will not be recorded. Why? If there is signal in both of them, this means that a gamma ray has interacted in the detector, number one, and a Compton scattering has happened. Right? So, if I record this event, I will get a reduced energy which will contribute to the background. Example. Suppose 1000 kV, again classic example. Now 700 is absorbed and 300 escapes. So if I don't use anti-Compton condition, what will happen is that this 300 will get absorbed over here. And suppose I use the, so what will happen? In the spectrum, I will just see a count at 700 kV, but this will correspond to background. But if I put these two circuits in anti-coincidence, this will just tell me that at that time when there was 700 kV here, something was detected here. So this has to be the Compton related stuff. So this event will not be recorded. So I am just getting rid of the background as well. No background because of this. So this is called active shielding, and this entire setup is known as ESS, Escape Suppressed Spectrometer. Write it. Escape Suppressed Spectrometer. ESS. Any questions? Someone I think raised your hand. বলো বলো
মিস করে গেলাম
কোন জায়গাটা বলো
আপনি আমার দ্বিতীয়টা বলতে গেলেন না যে দুটো দিক থেকে
মানে দুটো শত্রু আছে, বাইরেও শত্রু ভেতরেও শত্রু। বাইরের শত্রুর জন্য বাইরে আমি সোলজার্সদের রেখে দিয়েছি, ভেতরের শত্রুর জন্য কি করব, ওই রকম একটা টেকনিক করতে হচ্ছে, বুঝতে পারছো? আর এই টেকনিকটা দুটোই কাজ করে। Why? Because this is a passive material as well. What I am doing is that the same passive material I am going to use electrical signal as well. Now this is very difficult to do in reality. আমি তোমাদের পরে আরো বলবো এটা কিভাবে অ্যাকচুয়াল হয়। Maybe I will show you real photographs how it is implemented. Okay, a very interesting stuff this is. Okay, so escape suppress spectrometer. Nowadays when we do gamma spectroscopy, this is the stuff that people use. If you go to VCC, if you go to TIFR, if you go to ISC, New Delhi, you will see these detectors everywhere. SIMP also, they have got this. So basically I am talking about how to decrease the background. Okay.
প্যাসিভ শিল্ডিং যেটা বললেন ফটোইলেকট্রিক ইফেক্টটা ব্যবহার করা হচ্ছে, স্যার ওইখানে এনার্জিটা যাচ্ছে কোথায়, মানে এনার্জিটা অ্যাবসর্ব করছে করে কি হচ্ছে, মানে
কোনটা বলবো photoelectric, the entire energy is absorbed, that is being actually you will be able to observe the signal because of those absorptions. If the absorption is low, you will observe lower count. মানে তুমি টাকা এনেছো, you are getting monthly salary, say 5,000 rupees. On your way from the office to home, someone robs you of 2,000 rupees. So effectively it is something like this. So you will get a reduced money. Same here, the gamma ray comes, but I am unable to observe the entire energy contained in it because of something which is very inherent. You cannot get rid of Compton scattering. It will happen. We cannot ask why is there Compton scattering. It will be there. What we have to do is how to use this Compton scattering and make it beneficial for our spectrum. So this is one of the ways. Okay, so how to get rid of the Compton scattering? It may be there, it will always be there, but let us create techniques, okay, through which we can get rid of the Compton scattering events. Now there are other techniques also. Okay, so fine. So till now we have been talking about this PTR, right? F by F plus B So I have just now talked about how to decrease B. So now let me talk about how to increase F. Fine, how to increase it. So as I have just told you, a single detector, if I double the size also, it is very difficult industrially, the technology, and it is very costly. Now the second one is the real important stuff. We do not have that much money. Okay, money is a problem in all facets of life, even research also. So what we can do, you see, the idea is this: a gamma ray comes, interacts. As a result of Compton scattering, someone escapes. Fine. Now let us bring a friendly detector near it. So let us bring another detector such that the material in between is very less, so that this gamma ray doesn't interact significantly and it enters the detector. Then there will be a possibility of the gamma ray being absorbed. And if it happens, then what I will do a summing of these two counts. That means suppose 700 kV is absorbed over here, 300 kV is absorbed over here. And if I do the sum, how much do I get? I get back the 1 MeV gamma ray. So this is the concept. So this increasing L, this is the concept behind composite detectors. And the simplest composite detector is a Clover detector. Okay, so it is just like this. Gamma ray, you see, there are three friendly detectors like this. So this is one of the crystal like this. This is another one. There is another one. There is another one. 4 detectors. This is called Clover detector. 4 detectors all over. There is another called cluster detector. This is hexagonal in shape and there are 7 detectors around it. I will show you in a photograph later on. Okay. So the basic idea is this. Basic idea is to bring a friendly detector. So in the case of active suppression or passive suppression, I was bringing a policeman. But this time I am bringing a friendly detector, and making it such that the counts in the both of them can be added on. So as a result of this, 2 things are happening now. Number 1, I am getting rid of the Compton and I am getting back my full energy peak. So this is a way to enhance the full energy peak counts. Now, any question? There is another technique also, even more complex. This is a very basic idea. This is basically what I am talking about is physically segmented detectors. Therefore, 4 different detectors. I have put them together. This is physically segmented detectors. Now, it is also possible to have a very large detector, but they are electrically segmented. Now, I have been telling you regularly that it is very difficult to make a large detector. Now in case of physics also, if I use a very large detector, suppose someone gave me a lot of money, I am able to buy a very large detector, but you will not be able to do very nice spectroscopy with it. Why? You remember Doppler botany? What is the expression? E gamma is equal to E0 1 plus beta cos theta, right? Fine. When does this comes in? The gamma ray, which is emitted from a nucleus, if the nucleus is at rest, no problem. But suppose in a reaction, nuclei are produced which are moving at very high speed, say 5% or 10% of the speed of light, and then they emit gamma rays. Then what will happen? You will see a different energy being emitted because of the Doppler effect. And as a result, if you do the B beta, B gamma, then it will have contributions from both B beta, B theta. Okay. So this means, what is this theta? This is basically the detector opening angle. So if you have a very large detector, then if you have a very large detector, then what will happen? Because of this broadening, the peak will become very broadened up and we will not be able to do a spectroscopy. কি হবে? মানে ব্যাপারটা এইরকম ভাবো যে if the nucleus is at rest and there are two closely lying gamma rays, we are able to resolve them. But if the same detector is moving, no, not the detector, the nuclei is moving, and I am using the same old big detector, then this time I will observe two very broadened peaks because of the large opening angle of the detector. So, and this is real life case. In reality, when we study nuclei, they are being prepared, right? We create them in the accelerator labs or so. And so in the reactions, most of the time the nuclei are moving. And so we have to consider detectors whose opening angle are very small. And this is the concept here also, you see. By using a single detector which has got a very large angle, I am using 4 detectors. And as a result, what will happen? The Doppler broadening is very less. So this is yet another very great advantage of using composite detector. Number 1, full energy peak efficiency increases, and also the energy resolution it remains as good as in the case of the nuclei at rest. More or less. Not always, but more or less. So remember, just efficiency, just background dile hobe na. We have to consider the energy resolution aspect as well. Okay, finally, so this is one of the concepts. Finally, let me talk about the last concept of tracking. So this is one of the ways to increase the full energy peak efficiency. Right, there is another way, and that is known as tracking. And what is that? Let me take a very big detector. Okay, but I am going to electrically segment it in various parts. When I am saying electrically segmented, there are techniques. It is possible, no physical segmentation, very brief lines. Okay, electrically segmented. And as a result, what will happen is that, suppose a gamma ray comes here, after that it scatters to this and then comes over here. Fine, this is something which is really happening. Now if I do electrical signal, electrical segmentation, and if I consider all the signals, I observe the pulse shape from all this over here, then I will be able to say which one was the first interaction, after that where it goes, and then I will be able to sum it up. ব্যাপারটা বোঝো, এখানে আমি 4টে detector, I use physically 4 different detectors, but here I am having a single detector and I am just using algorithm to do this. So this is known as tracking. This is very difficult, but nowadays people are successfully doing spectroscopy using tracking detectors. 2 very great examples is Adaptation detector and Greta. Write it down. They are very great examples of Adaptation and Greta. Okay, you can check Wikipedia or Google also to get more information on them. Regarding this composite detector, Clover detector, our India, we have developed already India National Gamma Array. This is a very nice example of this. Even now, Inga has got some of the electrical segmented detectors as well. Okay, so write it down and do a search as well.